Hey guys, welcome to Space Engineers. You're probably watching this because you clicked on the link that I put in the workshop for the horizontal automated miner, and I think that you'll be really happy with it. Generate lots of ore and stuff like that for you guys. But anyhow, um, I'm making this video because I have friends that can't follow directions and they're trying to speed themselves through it. And so it made it a little confusing for them when they were reading the directions. Um, so I thought I'd make a video just to make it easier for everybody in case they have problems. This is a build that is set up so it's all connected together to make it all static and make it so that you don't have subgrids, because a lot of times if you have subgrids, a projector won't show all the separate subgrid parts. In this build, everything's linked together except for the drill head, which I'll show you the build on that later. Anyhow, we'll go through the directions. Number one says build merge blocks on pistons 1, 2, and 3 piston heads so that the connection part of the merge block is facing the green merge blocks labeled 1, 2, and 3, then reverse all 3 pistons. Okay, so here are the 3 pistons I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3. They are labeled pistons 1, 2, and 3, but I think it's RB for Red Bagger, the name of the machine. Okay, and you want to build a merge block. Now, when you're building the merge block, you don't want to build it on the piston. See how they're on the piston head there? There's a little gap on the top. If you're building it back on the piston and you move the piston forward, the merge block right here will not move forward. Okay, so you want to move it so that it's on the piston head. Okay, see how it's lined up? It's even. It's not back there like that where you can see the piston head on the top. It's right there. It's smooth and even with the piston head. Alright, so we're going to place one there, and one there. Okay, so we've done that part. And then after that, the directions said to reverse pistons 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we'll go in here. You'll see piston 1, 2, and 3 is right here in the top. And then we want to go into reverse. So we're reversing these. And it's going to take a few minutes, well, seconds actually, probably about a minute. So I'm going to pause the video right now for me, and so we'll be right back. Alright, so it's about done. It took about a minute because I have these set real slow on purpose for drilling reasons. And as you can see, we're green at all these locations. Alright, which means that we're connected. Okay, so step 2, remove all green blocks and the merge blocks you just built after all 3 piston heads have merged. Okay, which they have because they're all green. Alright, and I'm going to remove these LCDs as well because we don't need those anymore. There we go. Simple enough. Alright. Now we're on step number 3. Remove blue blocks labeled 4. Piston 3, which is this piston right there, will push back the main hub, which is the main hub is this right here. It sits on the track, which is down below, and it's going to push it back until it hits this kind of sloped item, which is called the stopper. Okay, so it's going to move back and it'll hit that stopper and it won't move any further until it stops at the stoppers on the track. Okay, if not, change station to ship under info. Okay, so what happens sometimes, especially when you connect everything together, it thinks everything's a station or a static grid. Okay, what we want to do is change it to ship so it knows it's a moving grid, you know, that it can move. If it's static, it won't allow it to move. So what normally happens is, it doesn't happen all the time, but I've seen times that it doesn't happen. But when it does happen, um, basically you want to go in to each part and say, hey, convert this to a ship. So you'll see me do that later. Um, and anyhow, this would be a component, this cockpit area, that needs to be changed to ship. This needs to be changed to the ship. This needs to be changed to ship. This needs to be changed to ship. And if you have a drill head, it will need to be changed to ship. So you got to make sure all these subgrids are shipped. The only thing that's going to be static is going to be the track that it rides on. Okay. So, or considered, anyway. So, remove the blue blocks labeled 4. Okay, and we're going to do that. Now, I wanted to move, but it did not. So, we're going to check this. Or is it? Oh, it is moving. Okay, good. However, I'll show you why it's moving. If it did not move, sometimes what you have to do is go under Info here, and you click Info, and right down here where I've highlighted it and it says convert this station to a ship, you'd want to hit convert to ship. You don't hit this convert to station, then it won't move at all and you completely messed it up. So convert to ship if it's stuck. Okay. Unfortunately, it wasn't stuck, so we can continue on. Alright, so we're exiting out. And it's moved back to the stopper. See where the this hit the stopper, and this is lined up now, the two connectors, and the piston's lined up. Alright. So, number 4, place and build a rotor part on top of the MB piston head labeled 5, and then reverse MB piston under control panel. There's 5. This is the MB piston, main piston, basically. It allows for the main merge block piston, I believe. That's why it's called MB. Anyhow, we want to build a rotor head, a rotor part, not an advanced rotor part, on top of the pistons. Okay, so we've just done that, and then you want to simply just reverse this. Okay. Alright, so it's connected. Well, it's not connected, but it's moved the rotor part up to where the turn rotor is. Okay. Okay, so place rotor. Okay, now we're going to do number 5. Attach rotor, turn rotor, which that's the turn rotor up there where the crosshairs are. Okay. To rotor part after MB piston's fully extended, which you just saw it is under the control panel, and then remove the LCD labeled 5, which is that there. So we'll go do this first. So under your control panel, I'm going to type in turn. There's your turn rotor that it was in parentheses the name of. Speaking of that, any part that's in parentheses, that's the label for the part. Just to let you guys know. Okay, so we want to move down here to where you see it says attached, and we attach. Current angle is 360, and then I would suggest a rotor lock. It's not necessarily needed, but I like to do it anyway. Okay. And remove this. Alright. Alright, so we removed did the last part of 5. So we're on 6. Okay, number 6 is basically we enter the control panel, go to timer block 6RB, and then we hit trigger now, and then we want to reverse pistons 1, 2, and 3, which are the ones we connected at the beginning. Alright, so go into the control panel. I'm going to type in time. It's timer block 6, which is going to be the last one on the list. And we want to trigger now. What's that going to do? It just activates all these components that are where it's supposed to be at this point. So it uses timer blocks in order to operate the whole system. So this sets it up so it's all set up right. So we'll hit trigger now. Alright, and then we want to go into pistons, PIS. Now, pistons 1, 2, and 3 are grouped together, so you can just click on this up top. You can do them individually you want with the shift trick that I showed you earlier. I think it showed you. And then you hit reverse. Okay? Alright. Now, that's part 6. Now, if you notice, this turned green and connected. It also did a few other things that it's not visible, but that's the only giveaway, okay, of what that step did. All right, number 7. Remove blue blocks labeled 7 and wait until piston 1 and 3 are fully retract. If it does not, make sure grid and all subgrids are converted to ship, except for the track grid, which track grid's down there. You're never going to be able to change the track grid because it's connected to the ground. Okay, so let's remove these blocks. Luckily for us, okay. Luckily for us, it's not all these. This apparently. And this, and most of these, yeah, all these are pretty much not considered ships, or they're already set to ship for some reason. So it's all good. If you build it, you might have to go into each one of these individual subgrids, and a subgrid is where a piston or a rotor head is connected to something else. Those would be subgrids. Okay. Anyhow, worked as it's supposed to. So let's go on. Remove blue blocks labeled 8 and wait until piston 2 retracts. Okay, so we want this one to retract, and I'm thinking that everything's going to retract okay. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, there we go, it's retracting. Alright, so now it's fully retract. Okay, now we're on the last step. Build drill head on rotor drill head RB. Make sure there is clearance for the following machine making drill group. Make drill group and add to timer blocks where needed. Okay, so basically I'll show you here. So this setup, let's see if I can find a place. I'll just build something. Alright, so this setup is pretty much simple. On the end of your rotor, okay, you're going to use conveyor blocks, conveyor junctions. And what I do is I make a cross. Alright, and pretend like this is your rotor right here. Okay, so the rotor, kind of like this rotor right there, just pretend like that's a rotor. And then I make a cross, okay, and then we want our drills. Alright, and whoops, there we go. It's a pretty simple setup. This is how I make mine, but you can make it however you want to make a drill head, as long as it's big enough to give the machine clearance behind it, because of course the machine has to follow. If it's not making a hole big enough for the machine to go through, then it's not going to work. Alright, and then of course I do this, and that's alright. And then you want, alright, now that's all you really need to do. But sometimes what I do is I put in a ore detector in the center. There you go. Okay, so there you go. There you have it. That's that drill head. Pretty simple build. Easy. It rotates around and around and makes a nice little hole. Okay, that this fits through really smoothly. Alright, so that will be your step number 9. Okay, last thing is I have a note. Timer blocks have their settings written on LCD underneath their corresponding blocks. Okay, you remember when I said if you make your own, you want to make a drill group and add it to the timer blocks in the appropriate areas? Well, you don't know where that's at. So underneath each timer block is exactly how it's supposed to be set up. Alright, so like drills RB, okay, on, that's if you have to set up your drill group, and then you want to, it's a grouped, okay, so but you have to set up the drill grouping if you're making it like that. Okay, so you have to set drills, you have to name them drills RB, that's red bagger, okay, and then type it in as grouped, and then you want to put in spot number 2 as on. Okay, so basically you go in here, you go to settings, set actions, you'll see right here set drill RB, and when it's white like that, it means on, and you'll see later that if it's dark, it's off. Okay, right now they're off, but if this were to trigger, it would turn them on. Okay, that's the current. The off on the bottom is the current position of what they're doing, but the command here is on. Okay. And the next time you use drills is over here. Rotor drill head RB, but oh, that's not it. What is it? Oh, there's drills RB off. So basically, you just set them up in here as off. As you can see, it's black in color. Currently, there it's off. The current position is off, and it says turns them off. Okay, and that's all you have to do after you group them. You just go in there and let me see. Let's give you an example. Go to setup. Now, when you group it together, you can go into groups, and if you can see what it'll be right here, or it might be over on the other side, you know, because it's made it, and all these other groups are already made. But Drills RB will be on here if you've named it drills RB. Then you just click and drag it down to section 4 or 2, whatever. And then after you do that, I'm going to put in 8 temporarily. Okay, see, and then it says that you can toggle block on and off. Don't do that. Just do what it says to put it. So you'll say on this one, I think it's toggle block off, but on timer block 1, it was toggle block off on. Okay, so that's how you want to do that. All right, but anyway, if anything get messed up, all the commands for everything is set up right here. All you have to do, the delay's on there and everything. So all you have to do is go in there and look at it, and then set it to the correct setting. Okay, so now at this point you want to follow the LCD cockpit control instructions, which is in the front of the cockpit, and then remove this LCD before starting the machine. Okay, if you leave it on there, it comes across and it hits things, so that's why I have you remove it. Alright, so let's go ahead and remove that, and now we go into the front. It's real simple at this point. Enter cockpit, press 1, 2, and 3. Basically that clears everything. 1 clears everything. 2, well, first 1 stops all the timer blocks from doing its delay count in case something is counting. 2 clears all the kind of memory, and 3 triggers timer block 1. Okay, and it will do cycles. It'll drill the drill go, and then it'll move piston 1, then piston 2, then piston 3 forward, and when it's fully extended, it'll retract the whole machine down the track, right? And then it'll start a new cycle. Well, however, if you press 1, 2, and 3, then you press 9, it'll only complete that cycle that you pressed it on. So like if you press 1, 2, 3, then press 9, it will do 1 cycle. Okay, but if you press 1, 2, 3, let it run for a while, then press 9, it will complete the cycle that it's currently on, and then stop. So after pressing 9, we'll finish cycle, then stop. Okay, make sure the machine is connected to ample supply of. Yeah, you want it. Okay, we're in creative, so the machine will work fine here. But if you're in survival, you have to have your steel plates, your motors, your small and large steel tubes, construction components, interior plates, and computers. That's what's needed in order to make the track down below. Quite a bit of track will be recycled. That's where the grinders come in. They'll grind some of the track, the stuff away, and just leave the conveyor system down here, so it saves on PCU. Like if you're 2 or 3 kilometers down inside the hole, it saves on your PCU, because you can only have so many PCUs. And components, saves on components. You know how you're not wasting all that on components, except for, and if you want something somewhere on the track, you can build it. Alright, so basically here's your connector. You're going to have that connected to your factory, wherever, or a supply of materials in order for it to build the track, and of course receive the ore. Okay. Now let me give you an example. We'll go ahead and hit 1, 2, and 3, and we'll just do 1 cycle. So as you see, it's working. Alright. Of course, I haven't hit 9 to do its 1 cycle yet, so let's go ahead and hit 9 too. So right now you see this is green for timer block 1. We're going to hit 9, and now it's red. So what's going to happen when it gets there, it'll just stop. Okay. So Right now it's building the track and moving forward. I should start on number 2 here shortly. Each one of these takes about 2 minutes. It's given 2 minutes so that it gives ample time for of course, the welders to do their job, and for their drill head to push through the ore, and so that it just gives it extra time. I mean, this is fully extended. It's fully extended, and I think I need to change something on there, but I'll fix that later. And it gives it about 2 minutes, so that just in case it has problems when it's extending. Okay. These are currently set, I don't know why, for 0.6 each. I will have to play with that and fix that, but it should be 0.1. And it's still doing count for 2. So what I'm going to do is when 2 gets started and you see it's moving, actually, yeah. So the track's being made. This is following the track. Stay on the track, pushing the rotor forward. And of course it's going to blink over here. So I'm going to come back when number 3 is going, and then you'll see 3 move forward, because it has 2 minutes for every one, just in case. Now that these aren't supposed to move forward that quickly, it's supposed to go at 1, but it's good for right now so that you don't have to watch the whole process. Hold on, and I'll be right back. Alright, and we're back. As you can see, it's third and final piston moving forward. This is set for 2 minutes again. Again, these pistons are moving faster than they're supposed to. Don't know why I had set it up that way, but it makes it easier for the video for right now, video purposes right now. Normally they'd be set at 1.1 ms, meters per second. But apparently it's set for 0.6, so I will change that later on, and I will show you on another machine, because it's already bored into the side of the mountain, how that goes. But anyhow, we have, it looks like, about 1 minute and 5 seconds, so I will be back just before that does, so you can see it retract. Alright, we're back. Got about 15 seconds. It's fully extended, and what you'll see is that the merge block will turn off and then it retract and pull the whole back side forward. Then, of course, like I said, grinds away the back parts. Alright. In a few seconds it should reattach, and there you go, it reattached. So this is reattached to the static grid down here, and the projector can project brand new stuff to the front. Okay? Then the cycle would start all over again if this was not turned off. So at this point, you're pretty much done. Now let me show you the finished product. This is where I built the machine, which is not there anymore. Of course, it's in the mountain. And I built this thing just to spit out the ore so that it doesn't get, because if you don't have a place for the ore to go, it gets super heavy in the drills, and then the weight causes problems. So you definitely have to have a place for all the ore to go. You can't have it just sit in the drills. Okay. Um, and here's the size that it builds. And I can go through the whole thing again, but you kind of get the basic idea and how it works. And that's pretty much it. So I hope that it all goes together really easy for you, and you have a good old time with it. So enjoy, and I'll see you guys on Space Engineers.